Hello and welcome back to our podcast, Deep Drive, powered by Kotak Mahindra Prime. Now, in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about a luxury car manufacturer, which, to be honest, has been in the doldrums, but now is planning a comeback, and we have all the details. I'm Homazd Sorabjee.
And I'm Sergius Barretto. And yes, that brand, in case you haven't figured it out as yet, it's Audi. Once, in fact, the leaders in the space, they were the darling of the segment, the darling of Bollywood. Everyone loved Audis. But yeah, as you said, Holmas, kind of in the doldrums and for a while now. And I think it's been really down to multiple reasons, of course, which we'll discuss. But lack of products.
Yeah, fundamentally lack of products, lack of investment. I think don't forget that its parent is Volkswagen,
Right.
which again, in a way is good and bad. Obviously, a lot of investment comes from there. It's the mother, but when the mother is weak and has other fires to put out, obviously that filters down to, brands like Audi in markets that are not very high growth or very profitable. But, I think let's talk about Audi when they launched. I think, it's going to be... I think next year will be 20 years, so
20
almost
years.
20 years back. I think they came with quite a bang, and obviously with the full investment that any brand from the Volkswagen Group does. We saw that happen with Volkswagen and with the Audi as well. And clearly, I think, in the early years, they gave Mercedes and BMW a fight and, were the top selling brand, for a couple of years. First brand to really cross 10,000 units back then. That was the size of the market, wasn't very big. So really quite a big, let's say, achievement at that point. And I think subsequently, I think, things started getting a little pear-shaped after Dieselgate, which I think was 2015, I think. And then I think really, things didn't go well for the group as we know. And I think going forward, they were so paranoid about diesel that by 2020, they got out of diesel. And that was really a big kind of, in a way, I would say even a mistake because they lost a lot of market share. At that time, I think overall the luxury segment, I think at least 30-40% was diesel, very diesel driven. One doesn't expect it, but I think, at that end, the diesels are so refined and so nice to drive as well that people prefer them, especially for the SUVs, where everyone wants that solid torque and performance.
And
That's why
no fuel economy penalty.
no fuel economy penalty. And I think that's why even till today, diesel at the top end of the SUV segment still commands a good 30%, maybe 40% of the segment. So clearly, I think a big miss over there. So they were operating in not the full spectrum of the luxury car space. Then, of course, a lack of investment, no new models coming. And, to be honest, the car's very understated, but they were really good cars. There's no doubt about it. I mean, for me, the Q7, that 3-liter TDI, absolutely brilliant, super smooth. We drove it all the way from Ingolstadt to India. Again, not a puncture, no problems at all, super comfortable. I think even currently, one of my favorite cars is the Audi A4. Again, very
2-liter.
understated, the 2-liter TFSI. Lovely ride, very smooth. Of course, it's outdated from the inside, not much space at the back. But, there's something nice about it. I think Audis have kind of excelled in ride quality. Very smart thing they've done is gone with slightly higher tire profiles, a little higher than the competition. So that really is a great line of defense against our bad roads. So overall, I think, they've been good cars, but they're just getting long in the tooth. And, competition from Mercedes, BMW, coming with multiple powertrains. Really, Audi's not been able to put up a fight. And right now, it's sad, when everyone else is growing. The luxury segment has grown, to 50 plus thousand. Audi has actually dropped from its peak of 10,000 to under 5,000.
Yeah.
So really, they've gone negative when the luxury segment has gone up. But, I think a lot of that is to change.
Yeah, and it's telling almost. I mean, the level that they've dropped, like you said, they've dropped to like I think 4,500 units last year, 2025, which kind of puts them even lower than JLR or just LR because technically it's
that's right.
JLR group.
Though I think
last year.
they've gone ahead of JLR in the last quarter. So.
In the last quarter, yes.
Yeah.
So they're coming back a bit. But yeah, I mean, it has dropped. And I think the product lifecycle management, was just kind of abandoned. They have the same cars. Nothing, like you said, nothing fundamentally wrong with them. But yes, it's not something that a luxury buyer would expect, that, that same car, the A4, it's still there, the A4, the A4, the A4.
And even the A6 as well,
Exactly.
Again, A6 really, that segment really can't compete with the E-Class at all,
Especially when they went long wheelbase.
That's right.
BMW.
And multiple engines. Petrol
Exactly.
and diesel. A6 only has one single petrol engine. E-Class has 2 petrols and a diesel. So really, I think, Audi just doesn't have that product firepower at that point, and that's led to a lot of discounting.
Right.
And frankly, it's been seen as a discounted brand because you get some fantastic deals, and that seems to be the only way to be moving the metal.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. In fact, on the long wheelbase also, Hormuz, what's funny is that like Mercedes, they had the long wheelbase in China, they brought it here. Audi has the long wheelbase. They have the A4L, they have the A6L, like the A8L, of course. But we didn't see the A4 or the A6 in the long wheelbase guys here. Again,
That's right.
Not investing in getting the products here. So
Yeah.
I think they've paid the price for sure.
Yeah.
The Q range as well. I mean, we've driven the Q6. You, me, both have driven it some time ago now. The Q6 e-tron, the Q3, but well, they're not here as yet.
Yeah, well, I think that's all about to change.
Correct.
And I think that's what we're going to be talking about is really, and it's comes as a bit of a surprise because, there's been this thing of Audi waiting for them to really announce some new product plans, and it's taken some time, but now we have it. We've got all the dope on it. And Audi is planning a mega comeback. It wants to make up for lost time. It wants to claw back market share. In fact, the company wants to double its sales in the next 3 years. So they're talking about, again, breaching that 10,000 mark. They're being very realistic. Obviously, they're not looking for leadership right now. That's a big fight going on between Mercedes and BMW. But clearly, they've got big plans is to beat the luxury market growth by quite a bit and really, try and get 10% of the luxury car market. And how are they going to do that? Well, it's going to be with a raft of new products. And that's what we're going to be talking about. Sergius, you spoke of the Q6 e-tron not coming. Well, I can say now that it is coming.
Right.
And the big news is that all these products are going to be localized. They're going to be made in India. In fact, we had an interaction with, Mr. Dolnat, who's the CEO of Audi globally. And he said, look, to be in the game in India, you have to localize. So I think that's what they're going to be doing. That's where the investment is going to go. I think one good thing for Audi is that they've got the Aurangabad plant. So clearly not too much of a major investment in that sense. But I think they've realized that, you can't be bringing in CBUs. And when you localize, you've got to get to that level where, the duty slabs is 15% for the CKD, not even SKD. So obviously there's some powertrain components which have to be localized and some other bits. This is what BMW and Mercedes have been doing. Even Audi's been doing, to be honest. So I think with their with a lot of their current models. But I think let's talk about products. Very exciting. I think first one we know is going to be the Q3, the all new Q3. And Sergius, I think that to me when I drove it was like, it felt like a complete different generation because really the we've been used to that monochrome digital dash of the earlier Audis. In fact, they kind of pioneered that virtual cockpit, which was quite a rage when it came out. I don't even know when, 10, 15 years back. But they haven't moved on from them. But really now when you look at, the Audi, the kind of tech they have on board, very, very contemporary, right up there with the competition. So I think Q3, I think, is going to be a car that I think is going to be well priced. 2-liter TFSI, I think that's a big strength of Audi. A very smooth engine. We've always found that engine.
Love that engine.
Yeah, that's right. And I think they're going to be playing with the Quattro as more of a brand shaper, something to have rather than need.
Right. Yeah, and it's not just the Q3, right? I think you had an interaction with the India brand director, Balbir, and there are 3.
He's confirmed 3.
3 cars.
Officially.
Right, the Q3.
Obviously, he's not said anything more than that,
Right.
but we've kind of dug around, which we'll come to later. So you've got the Q3 coming out. Then I think by Feb, you've got the A5.
A5.
A5 is going to be interesting because it replaces the A4, kind of like a coupe-like body style. So it'll be interesting to see how it does. Clearly, I think that's going to be a style statement. It goes against the C-Class and the 3 Series.
More conventional.
It's bigger. The A5 again, very updated with tech. So I think in the sedan space, that's really going to be their play over there. So I think they're going to put a lot of might behind that. So I think that is one product that they're going to be looking to get some good volumes. And then I think the big one which they confirmed is their new flagship, the Q9. And I'll be honest, I was really impressed with that product in many ways. For one, I think the interior cabin quality, just absolutely top class. I mean, I have to say, it felt better than what you get in the Mercs and the BMWs today, which they all look great, but it's just the depth of the quality in the Q9 which really stood out. Just the texture of the materials, everything felt super solid. I think seat comfort also very good. I sat in one which had the kind of captain seats at the back, very comfortable. Third row a bit disappointing. I would have expected a little bit more space. Definitely better than the Q7. But again, really not ideal for adults. No spare tire, that could be another issue. But, they've gone completely the other way in the dash. Buttons have gone completely, and it's very much a digital interface. A lot of key controls are also on the screen. One of them being the AC vents, which you have to adjust. Digital control AC vent. That's how you have in the Porsche Taycan. So I think, I don't know whether it's the right thing because, when people are coming back to buttons, they've gone very digital. But I have to say the UI UX is absolutely brilliant. 3-screen setup, very, very fast. Very intuitive, the menus. And, I think that was quite amazing. And I think a great party trick are the electrically opening 4 doors, which you can open and shut in many ways. Either with a button on the roof, or as from the driver's point of view, you just press the brake pedal and the driver's door shuts. So yeah, I think that's going to be a pretty cool feature which everyone likes. I think the lighting technology, again, Audi had pioneered, let's say lighting technology in its heyday. Now, again, they've done that. The digital matrix LED lights, really superb. And I think what's really cool is the turn indicator, which projects, sign on the road. So, which is a pretty cool feature, actually. And, it kind of gives, and in India especially, when you want to warn someone that you're, let's say, moving lanes, and people really don't care. At least they get some warning.
Whether it's right in front of their face.
Whether they listen or not, or kind of heed that or not, is a different issue. But I think I was just thinking from an India point of view, it was pretty good. So Q9 really very impressive, I think. But again, just one engine option.
For India.
For India, that's right. In fact, interestingly, it's going to be launching with a diesel.
Internationally, but
not in India. So I think, I think that's one thing about Audi. They really should kind of get this diesel hang up, out of their heads. Not just Audi, the whole Volkswagen group. They've been so burnt by diesel that they just don't want anything to do with it if they don't have to. But I think, it's a mistake in India, which is such a diesel-driven market that, especially at the top end, as I said, I think even the X7s, GLSs.
The competitors, they're all offering diesels.
And diesel are, really a large proportion of sales. So that's going to be one challenge. But again,
diesels and Homazd plugins too. I mean, and this one is not a plug-in, right? The V6.
No, this is not a plug-in. In fact, they don't have a plug-in for the Q9 at all. They just have a mild hybrid version. So clearly, pure ICE vehicle. It's targeted more at the US market, which really isn't, is more of an ICE market. And really, that's why it was launched there in Brooklyn. Phenomenal launch. They took the car right up to the terrace of the hotel with a massive crane. And really, it was quite a spectacular backdrop. You had Manhattan in the background, Brooklyn Bridge over there. So really amazing. But I think, so I think 65% of the Q9 is going to be in the US. But clearly, India also is a market for this product. And I think this is going to be really the kind of absolute flagship. And I think this is the one Audi is going to be banking on a lot. And really, as I said, I'm quite excited because really it's got the tech, it's got the looks. I think the grille, very much in your face. But still, it's going to really kind of grab a lot of attention. And you can't miss that. Those lit vertical kind of bars really stand out. Some might find it too much. But you can't let's say miss this car for anything other than a Q9. So when it's in someone's rearview mirror, you know what model that is. And I think that's what owners want.
Correct. Yeah. And, listening to you, Hormaz, about the leap in quality, I mean, that's really sort of amazing to hear, because Audis, I mean, we've always liked their quality, the switch gear, the knobs. I mean, even on the A4, till today, the climate control knobs, which have that sort of integrated display, I just love that. It clicks with such a
That's right. They've got
satisfying
that
feel.
depth of quality, I mean, it's really,
Exactly.
it's not just superficial.
Yeah, I think the new platform, in fact, from the cars that are coming, the Q3, of course, is on the Evo platform, the MQB Evo.
Right.
But the Q9 is on the new PPC,
That's right. Absolutely.
Premium platform.
Which
combustion.
the 7-seater Porsche will be on this as well, which is coming out as well. Yeah, so exactly. So it's a really absolutely new state-of-the-art platform. And clearly, I think, I think ride and handling should be good. It's got air suspension as standard. It's got 4-wheel steering. I don't know whether we'll get that option for India. So really, it's got all the bells and whistles. But again, as I said, a single powertrain.
Exactly. And Hormaz, besides these 3 models, so like you said, there's the Q3, the A5, the Q9. But we know, like you said, we've dug around a bit, and there's a whole long line of other Q models also in the way.
So I think, Sergius, what is clear, Audi's entire portfolio is going to be completely revamped in the next year or two. So let's start with the Q5.
Right.
You're going to get the new Q5. Q7, you're going to get the new Q7. I think all in the space
Both
of...
these are on the PPC platform.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think there's a complete revamp of the portfolio, a complete reset for the brand. So really very exciting in that sense. And you got the Q6 as well, coming. So really there's a lot. And all of them locally produced.
Including the EV.
Yeah. So I think that's 6 we've got so far. We've got the Q3, we've got the A5, the Q9, we've got the Q6 e-tron. Q5 and Q7 in time. Obviously, they're going to be updated, because I think, you can't be having some absolutely brand new model and some older one. So it's really going to be possibly, a complete reset, a complete overhaul of Audi's, model range. And I think with that is going to be some investment in the dealer network also. They're going to be increasing that. So I think very exciting times ahead for Audi.
Yeah, in fact, the dealer network was right now, it's only 29 showrooms. Obviously, they had to also contract with the business contracting. But they planned by the year end 40 dealers.
Yeah.
This year itself. So it's quite a for them quite a jump up, and I believe after that it'll just keep growing. And by 2030 they want to also have a market share of the luxury space of 20%.
Right. Yeah.
So just moving on from 10% to 20%. So I think quite ambitious. Like you said, I think earlier you just mentioned their growth is actually going to outpace the growth of the luxury segment. So
that's
clearly intent is there. But there are some challenges for us, right? Like I think you've alluded to one already, the powertrain.
Yeah, there are challenges. I think there are gaps over there. I think powertrain, there's no diesel right now.
Exactly.
I think the view is maybe in time diesel will come down dramatically. But we need more EVs. Right now, all we know is there's only one EV.
One EV.
The Q6 e-tron, whereas you look at the competition, look at BMW. I mean, BMW iX1, frankly, neither Mercedes, Audi or any luxury manufacturer has an answer to the BMW iX1.
Exactly.
No one has an answer yet. I mean, it's just hit such a sweet spot that it's gone. I mean, forget the luxury car makers which just cannot compete with it. iX1 is competing with mainstream brands like Hyundai and BYD and all these, So clearly it just shows what BMW has achieved with the iX1. So really no answer to that. I think no long wheelbase A6 yet. I believe the A6 is also on the cards, a new one, but I'm not sure whether the A6 will come. And I think Mr. Dolner did allude to the fact that they've not really thought of bringing the long wheelbase versions from China the way BMW and Mercedes have. And BMW is doing everything long wheelbase.
Exactly.
You'll have the X1, long wheelbase. You've got the X5 now coming in a long wheelbase soon next year. You've got the 3 Series, 5 Series. They're just stretching everything.
Exactly.
So clearly that's a formula that works. We've talked about this earlier. And Mercedes right now just has the E-Class really. GLE is a longish long wheelbase version to begin with. So I think, yeah, they will have some gaps over there. And again, as I said, going upwards, they just have one sedan. They don't have a series of sedans. I mean, there's no 8, for example. Mercedes and BMW both have a 7 and S class. Small volumes, but it just makes the brand look much more complete, and no plug-in hybrid as yet, which Mercedes has brought in. So I think Audi is also being realistic. As I said, they aren't aiming to be the leader in the luxury segment like they once were. But I think it's a realistic plan that, they will definitely increase their volumes. And honestly, with these models, they have enough on their plate to really dramatically leapfrog from where they are right now. And I think, there are a lot of loyal Audi fans. Someone who has an Audi loves an Audi for what it is. It's got a certain appeal, which is that sort of, that understated kind of character, the absolute solidity, the comfort, the refinement. What it's lacked really is that wow factor. But I think, with the new onboard tech, the new infotainment systems, the new designs, I think that's something that has been addressed with the new models.
And almost interestingly, they also have another car that they're not actually playing in India, besides, of course, the powertrains and things like that. Audi actually have a sub-brand called Audi, AUDI, without the 4 rings in China.
That's right.
Bit of a puzzler when it came out. I remember seeing it saying, okay, wait, so it's just AUDI in caps, all caps. But I think you asked Dolna about this, and he kind of alluded to that it's not likely to be a outside of China brand.
Yeah, that's right. I think, China's the only place they can do it because that's where they have the scale.
Right.
And I think, honestly, the reason why they've done it is to appeal to a much younger audience, where they feel that the 4 rings represents their parents' generation, something they don't want to be associated with. So obviously, AUDI is much younger. And clearly, I think there's a lot of catering to the Chinese market with that brand. And again, a lot of gadgets, gizmos, and I think that's really what it is. And I think it's quite, in a way, quite smart over there, because clearly there are 2 different sets of people. And as Dolna once says, there's no more a one-size-fits-all kind of a product anymore. You have to be specific for different markets.
Yeah, and Hormuz, I guess it makes sense, managing 2 brands when one brand is already weak. Having another sub-brand in India wouldn't make sense. I mean, the products might fit and might gel. China and India, we see some similarities. So AUDI products might seem tempting enough, but the brand management, that's going to be difficult.
That challenge in India is that we are still luxury car market, just a little over 50,000, not really grown that much. So your scale is very small, very difficult to make specific changes for India. But still, I think, we align well with what's happening in Europe right now. And, let's say a few tweaks that have been done. I think the long wheelbase, which Audi hasn't done yet, which BMW and Mercedes have done, that's really worked well over here. So I think those specific kind of designs, brought over here do work. But I think overall, as I said, I think the new look of the Audi is, I think, very techy, just lights everywhere. I think this is actually what new generation buyers want. And it does move away from that slightly understated look, but at the same time, I think it's not gone completely crazy. I mean, today, Merc designs can be quite controversial. The GT4 Coupe, the GT4 door, I mean. The GT4 door, yeah, I think, it's looks very radical. And so I think that way, the Audis, I think, will appeal to a broader audience. And of course, they've got a different look for the SQ9, sportier, more of a like a honeycomb kind of hexagonal grille rather, with the hexagonal elements over there. And that looks sportier. Again, no word on the SQ9 coming, not as yet. I think it might come in the future. I think right now the focus is just the Q9. So sportier
and that's
version
with the V8.
That's with the V8, the 4-liter V8, absolutely. So I think we are seeing that in the RSQ8, which I believe this current version has done some decent numbers by Audi standards. So, but I don't think we'll have the SQ9 coming in a hurry.
Speaking of RS models or as CBUs, we have to discuss, because so far whatever we've discussed is all, like you said, going to be made here. But Audi within the same time frame, they're also going to be peppering their product portfolio with a few CBUs, right? Niche sort of products. And it's something they've done in the past, that they still do. And I'm sure we've got one or two at least models coming in from the CBU range.
Yeah, I think, right now, the whole, let's say, EU-India FTA, still not too much clarity. I think what is clear is that the duties on the pure ICE and mild hybrids are definitely going to come down. So automatically, that's an opportunity for better pricing of the RSQ8, much more competitive pricing. And so that is one really candidate for, let's say, pushing hard on from the FTA standpoint. They're also considering the RS5,
Right.
but that is also, just brilliant right now. I mean, I think it's really, really very quick. I think Gavin drove it. He loved it.
Absolutely loved it.
But it's a plug-in hybrid.
Yes.
And
So
I
no
think
benefit on the FTA.
no benefit yet. They still say clarity is not there, but they might bring it anyway, just again as a brand shaper. So yeah, I think, that's really on the cards. But I think, again, not thinking too much of the CBUs right now, want to, let's say, assemble in India, because by assembling in India, they can really be competitive with their pricing. And I think that's what they're looking for.
So I guess, Homazd, it's safe to say that when Audi celebrates their 20th year in India, it's like a sort of reawakening 2 decades on for them, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think absolutely. I think that's a good way of putting it. That they came up, went to a high, dropped to a low.
Right.
They're not going to be going back to that same high, but at least they will be on a very high trajectory, because clearly, I think, with these models, I think volumes are definitely going to come. So I think, 2027 is going to be a very interesting and important year for Audi. It's probably where the four rings make a proper comeback. And I think a lot of customers are waiting for some of these models. In fact, I've got so many calls from people on the Q9. They just love it, looking at the pictures. They just want it. And I think you can understand why, because it's a proper big SUV, which people want fully loaded. And I think that really sells in India. So I think, they've kind of too early to say, but I think, they're on the right path. And I think clearly, or one can safely say that 27 will be a big year for Audi, and the year that Audi really turns the tide and starts, its upward trajectory.
They're getting back into the ring, the four
Getting back into the ring. That's a good way of saying Audi. The four rings get back into the ring. And with that, it's a wrap on this week's podcast. We do hope you enjoyed watching it. And to make sure you don't miss any of our future episodes, do click on the bell icon to stay notified. You can also catch us on our other audio platforms, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks for watching. See you again same time next week.